Imagine if you could play with Silver Samurai in the Ghost of Tsushima video game. Yeah, he would solo. The Marvel Earth is jam-packed with a whole bunch of different mutants, some getting less screen time than others. In his lore, the Silver Samurai happened to be the mutant son of a Japanese crime lord who began studying fighting methods and the code of honor. Yeah, a mutant that's studied in fighting arts and the ways of the samurai. Think about that combination. He has less than 100 comic book appearances, so he lacks screen time. That doesn't mean he isn't a formidable foe. He's improving. We could assume that he's improving as time goes by off screen, of course. Just like in his lore, he's had different blades. The Silver Samurai can literally generate a tachyon energy field from within his body that he typically focuses through his sword, increasing his cutting power like you're going to see throughout this video, cutting through almost any substance except for adamantium. Yeah, adamantium's busted, so that's understandable. Oh yeah, you're going to see him in armor a lot in this video, but the armor is not what makes him, by the way. It's literally talked about how he generates cutting energy within his own body and the sword merely gives it focus. AKA he doesn't need the sword to actually, produce a lot of cutting power. I mean, it's funny how these panels talk about a black blade. A lot of this sword talk on how he can power and amp up this sword and stuff. Reminds me of anime like One Piece on how characters can amplify their blades with their own energy and crap. This probably has no relation at all, but it's funny seeing the comics use this term like black blade. And then you see anime say this black blade or black sword. And if you think about stealing his sword, that's not going to go well. The energy mode can't be activated unless you're literally him, Silver Samurai. We've seen him in power swords or daggers. Right here, his sword looks flamey. He's really good at Japanese swordsmanship. Not just swordsmanship, but he's a highly skilled martial arts master. I mean, we've seen him get in scuffles with some of the best Marvel fighters, like Elektra, for example. While it is true in his lore he does know martial arts abilities, they do want to make it clear that's not what he specializes in. Like characters like Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, who do specialize in pure martial arts, Silver Samurai is like more of a sword specialist. I mean, Wolverine's literally one of the best fighters in Marvel history. Like, he's literally given Wolverine lessons on what his weaknesses are. But even he admits that his skills with the blade is incredible. Wolverine even talks about how good he is when it comes to combat and his battle IQ. He knows he can't get too close because of his claws. There's even narration that even at times say he's the most skilled swordsman in the world. He lives in Marvel Comics. Saying you're the most skilled swordsman in the world of Marvel is insanity. Blade literally lives in Marvel, guys. And Deadpool. I mean, you even see him with Black Widow. I mean, samurais literally fighting beings that were programmed to have every fighting technique they could find in them. And Silver Samurai still taking these kind of beings on. Even Spider family members acknowledge that there's a skill gap between Silver Samurai and a Spider-Woman tier. She even says, can her physical strength advantage make up the difference? I would agree that a Spider family member in muscle is stronger, but she says, will it be able to make up the difference? Yeah, he got skills. That inevitably brings me to his gear. This is a lightweight steel alloy plate body armor designed to resemble ancient samurai. I mean, Spider-Woman or Spider tiers call his armor granite, so it helps his durability. Spider-Man even said that Silver Samurai's armor protects him against blunt hits. He's wielded multiple blades and even a teleportation ring. We've actually seen him use in comics where he teleports away, and we've seen him use shurikens. And I guess he can kind of summon the armor at will? Being a human mutate like he is, you would be surprised on how strong he is physically with just muscle, not even counting like energy projection or him imbuing his sword with energy. We see him literally lift beings up with one arm. Like, we literally seen him get dogpiled by like some not weak characters, like literally Daredevil, a super soldier tier in Marvel, I would say. And Silver Samurai literally pushes all these beings off of him with his raw strength. We see his muscle on how he can sling beings like Spider-Man. I'm not really trying to get into an argument on who you think got stronger muscles, Deadpool or Daredevil, but let's just say their muscles are somewhere around the same ballpark of power. Like we see Deadpool and Daredevil literally clash muscles here, for example. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because characters like Deadpool is like a super soldier tier, and when it comes to strength wise, we've seen Deadpool lift up stuff that looks like it weighs 10 or even 20 tons, 5 tons at the bare minimum, right? Can push huge statues like this, and Daredevil can match this being's muscles decently. And this is why Silver Samurai pushing Daredevil off like this is impressive. There's implications Silver Samurai can lift several tons or a couple tons like super soldier tiers, because we literally see him grapple, like muscles clashing, not his sword. We literally seen him grapple with spider-centric tier characters like Spider-Woman. And I know skills can make up the strength gap in certain situations in real life, guys, but Silver Samurai has to be pretty strong for her to be having this much issues with him and just raw muscle. Even though I would give Spider tiers the advantage in muscle still, this is ridiculous for him to be able to do this to Spider-Man tier level beings when it comes to muscle. Considering we've seen Spider-Man level beings lift buses, tanks, you know, buses can weigh 10 plus tons, tanks can weigh 60 plus tons. You see what I mean? Like, this stuff gets ridiculous when you see Silver Samurai clashing muscles with Spider tier beings. I mean, we literally seen him restrain Spider-Man without relying on his blade with muscle. Even Spider-Man says, I gotta get free. Spider-Man does eventually break free, of course, because I would agree Spider-Man's physically stronger, but the fact that he said this is harder than he figured, and he said it hurts, considering how strong Spider-Man is, this lets you know that Silver Samurai's muscle has to be superhuman by a lot. Yes, super soldier tiers in Marvel can lift more than 10 tons, by the way. John Walker isn't the only one, by the way, just to let you guys know. Like, this literally has to be over 10 tons. Do you honestly think somebody like Deadpool could beat Spider-Man in an arm wrestle? Heck the freak no. And in raw strength, Spider-Man gave Silver Samurai props, saying it was hard to get out of his grip. I'm not saying he's as strong as a Spider-Man or symbiote tier, but I would definitely say there's a good possibility he can lift up to 10 tons or even more, maybe 20, 30, based on some of the higher end super soldier tiers and what they can do. Silver Samurai seems to be somewhere in the ballpark of these beings in muscle. Think about somebody that has this kind of physical strength kind of clashing with Spider-Man himself and Spider-Woman in muscle. Spider-Woman even admitting there's a vast skill gap and she hopes that her strength advantage could make up the difference. This seems to be really believable. I'm lowballing him really, if I'm being honest, when it comes to super soldiers. I mean, think about all this strength. What do you think his blunt punches would feel like? You see what I mean? He's astronomically stronger than normal folk. Like, even if it's a whole bunch of ninja, he can literally hit hard enough to toss these beings around. Hit Spider-Man this hard. He hits Spider-Man with the flat part of his sword and hit Spider-Man that far. Beings like Viper, we've seen him actually straight up karate chop bluntly. I mean, on this occasion with Spider-Man, he hit Spider-Man so hard he felt like it pulverized every bone in his body to the point where he was blacking out. That's the weight of Silver Samurai's hits. Spider-Man sees stars before his eyes. It's no wonder Silver Samurai can break walls down just to hit Wolverine. Is this really shocking? Some beings he'll just straight up swat away. Even some beings, the writers don't even bother showing how he beat them on screen. He can probably already hit with over 10 tons of force. I'm talking about blunt force on its own, but if you add in his energy slashes, like when he puts Tachyon energy around his sword, it gets worse. Like right here, he literally cut through Spider-Man's web. We literally got to dissect his cutting power. Heck, even Black Widow said it, that her Widow's bite attacks ain't got nothing on his Silver Samurai's ability. We've seen him cut wheels off a motorcycle. With his energy, you might argue he could be able to jump to Spider-Man tiers of raw power, being able to make Spider-Man go numb to the point where he cannot move his legs and arms, he can barely think. And his sword seems to be hexy. His Tachyon manipulation around his blade seems to be hexy to where he can cut apparent intangible ghostly type beings, apparently. I wasn't joking when I said this being's a ghostly being that he cut up. The energy confuses Black Widow's nervous system because of the energy backlash, like electrocution kind of sort of. Like anything in his way is getting chopped up. I mean, he was literally battling Daredevil. He can literally slice through a stone wall with his Tachyon energy around his blade, showing his cutting power, being able to do all of this. He can cut through light poles like butter, mailboxes. I mean, if he's smart, he can use his energy on the foundations of a building and literally cut the building up. And due to the collateral of him cutting the support of the building, he can literally make the entire building fall. And in this asset, being able to technically make a building fall over with his cutting power. He's one of the few rare beings that can shake off Rogue touching him and has enough strength to punch her off without being completely helpless or drained. There's implications due to his Tachyon energy manipulation ability. You could argue that could give him resistance to certain energy attacks, like this Venom Blast, for example. Like, it's even talked about, like, I hit him with everything I had and it only staggered him. So yeah, this is coming from a Spider-Man tier, by the way. The Black Blade will possess you if you're not a Fated warrior, and he can literally wield the Black Blade without being possessed. Fated, it's a warrior chosen by karma. With all this muscle and strength, do you think part of the reason why he can hit so hard is because he can swing his sword ridiculously fast? Like, yeah, fighters in Marvel can swing or fight fast. So how fast am I talking? Well, I'm talking about a lot of guys with guns aiming at him, and he's literally blitzing all of these beings, cutting them all up because of fighting speed. I mean, he just busts in, swoops her up, and goes on his way that quickly. Like, they're clearly outnumbered. Silver Samurai and Wolverine do not care. This is a clear example of combat speed. You know how in the movies you be seeing Deadpool deflect bullets? This is something you see in comics. Honestly, at this point, pretty much any super soldier tier can do stuff like this. We literally seen Silver Samurai block literally bullets with his blade because of combat speed. They even spoon fed us this feat. Like they literally showed him shooting and you literally see Silver Samurai cut the bullet in half mid-flight. Let's be honest, he's quite a bit above supersonic when it comes to combat or fighting speed, reflexes, blah, blah, blah. First of all, when it comes to combat speed, Silver Samurai is able to keep up in combat speed with beings like Daredevil. Y'all, Daredevil is literally fast enough to dodge actual electricity from this close range. So basically, if you shot lightning at Silver Samurai, he would be able to react to even lightning fast stuff. Reflexes allow him to react to stuff that's going 200,000 miles per hour. I mean, when Spider-Man considers you fast, when you realize Spider-Man partly thanks to his precognition, Spider Sense allows him to dodge lasers. Like we've seen Spider-Man avoid attacks from beings that literally have the speed of light on their side, and Spider-Man can still miraculously dodge these attacks from these kind of beings. This would imply his reflexes could be just right under light speed when it comes to combat speed, like way faster than lightning speed. Don't forget, characters like Daredevil can literally react in 1/1,000,000th of a second. Has to fight beings like Daredevil, guys. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess this is technically a fighting speed, skill, and strength feat for Silver Samurai to constantly battle and dodge Wolverines. That somebody that can also keep up with the super soldier tiers in combat speed. Don't dare try throwing knives at him. Even if it's 3 of them in the middle of a fight, he can just cut them all. And we've seen Silver Samurai box it up with Wolverine when he's not using his adamantium claws. But I gotta admit, he doesn't have the best combat record when it comes to fighting Wolverine. In overall skills, I would say he's similar. In just pure swordsmanship, I would say he even got him in just pure swordsmanship. But this isn't a sword fight, this is just a fight. Wolverine himself even acknowledges how good of a fighter he is. But yeah, Wolverine does get the upper hand here though. And apparently this is still considered a stalemate. We see Silver Samurai and Wolverine box it out here. Yet again, Silver Samurai showing he can hang with the best of the best there is at what he does. In battle IQ, fighting speed, skills, and etc. You know Wolverine respects his skill when Wolverine asks, can you show me how to use this thing? Implying, yeah, even Wolverine agrees in pure swordsmanship, Silver Samurai got him. And there's even implications he can get a W on Wolverine if he doesn't use his claws. How strong do you think Silver Samurai is? Do you think it's crazy that he be hanging with Spider-Man tiers, kinda? Would you like to see Silver Samurai and Blade fight in a sword duel? Seriously, guys. I want the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima to have a Silver Samurai skin. Wouldn't that be cool? But yeah, he's pretty strong. But what do you guys think? Hit that like button, smash that notification button, and thanks for the donations, y'all. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.